Transparency is assumed to promote more sustainable outcomes. But does it do so? The conference, Disclosing Sustainability, the Transformative Power of Transparency, looks at this relationship between greater transparency and more sustainable outcomes. Transparency often entails shining a light on something, and what we would like to do for these 2 days is to actually shine a light on transparency itself and its role in sustainability.
There are a lot of different definitions on transparency, but I think the most simple one is basically that transparency is disclosing of information. So if you want to have transparency, you need to disclose all types of information and make it widely available for the public.
If we really want to become sustainable in the next couple of decades, this will require a lot of knowledge and understanding. And if that knowledge and understanding is not produced in a transparent way, not used in a transparent way, and not shared in broader society with a high degree of transparency, I don't think we will have the knowledge base to really move towards that sustainability.
What we find today is that we have the technology to discover information that we simply were not able to discover in the past. And so this may change the dynamics of transparency mechanisms and how they work, because we now have sort of this big data revolution that is changing our ability to, as I said, collect and analyze information.
And there's a lot of interesting discussions going on whether this ICT dimension actually helps to make thinking about transparency and sustainability more inclusive and democratic, or whether there's also challenges involved.
Data can both help transparency by revealing the invisible, so making the invisible visible, but then at the same time there could be information overload where too much data, too much information can actually counter its original aim to increase transparency.
Who gets empowered by information when it is released, when it is disclosed? Oftentimes we want it to be citizens, we want it to be local communities, but in fact there are often information disclosures that empower powerful states, powerful elites, and powerful corporations.
So you need to look at the way people develop data, use data in a kind of specific setting, and only by looking at how data are used, you can just clarify a little bit the political role that they have in environmental governance.
We no longer think that access to information is a problem. The problem is really making that information actionable for lay people, so for people who are not specialists.
I was a bit triggered by all the work that's being done on making transparency and disclosure more actionable and more useful for consumers, whereas also the other route seems to be very influential.
Sustainability requires actions, right? And so one of the things that we need to do and we're trying to do is to stimulate actions and stimulate the right actions. And I think transparency and an open exchange of information can really help to make that happen.
I'm very happy to have a chance to present my paper on the uptake and impact of private sustainability standards in China. But I think it's important for Chinese business actors to be transparent, to show the information about the production processes.
A nice problem at the top, and then they had the microscope or the looking glass, which they brought us down here and then they gave us the answer. And that's what we really liked about that.
This conference has been absolutely vital in pushing the agenda forward in transparency and accountability in environmental politics, in terms of bringing together people that hadn't been in conversation with each other before, and that really helps to define and shape the research agenda over the next 5 to 10 years.
One of the challenges in this conference is moving from the transparency is releasing information to the transparency is empowerment. And I think it's that gap that really we need to work on in the future.
What's crucial is to look towards the kind of transformations in sustainability that we need for the future and what role transparency can play there, where the very nature of the problem, the environmental or sustainability challenge, may not be well understood. So it's not even clear what needs to be disclosed, who should disclose it, and for what purpose, and where do we want to go, what's our ultimate destination.